Okay, well, welcome everybody. I'm Mike DeLuca, I'm your host, and this is our Sunday Goal Achievement MasterMind. And very excited to have you all with me tonight, everyone who's joining me on Zoom, and everyone who's joining me on Facebook Live, and everyone who's joining me on Facebook later. Welcome to you all. Very, very happy you're joining me tonight. Every Sunday I try to come up with some new topics for this Sunday Mastermind discussion. Did have some input from a number of people that they really received a great deal of benefit from our last session, which was an acronym I created called CARGAS. And, a formula used for personal improvement, personal development. So I thought I'd come up with another acronym and talk about its use in the change and improvement process. And just like last time, this also came from my experiences working as a management consultant in the realm of helping industries like oil, gas, mining, chemical processing, a number of different industries, help them improve their productivity and make good changes to reduce their waste and costs, and also improve worker capabilities, worker satisfaction, reducing downtime, all kinds of great things. So that was a process that followed a systematic approach, very similar to what I'm going to show you tonight. And tonight's process is something you don't have to be a company, don't have to be an industry. You can just be yourself. And like me, I'm always looking for how to improve myself, how to improve my chances of reaching my goals. And I have all kinds of goals that I look at, I measure, I focus on every day. So I thought I'd share this process that works with me and that has worked in industry. And I just rearranged it a little bit, but I'll explain it to you as we move along. So if that's okay with you, I am going to go through our system of pressing all kinds of buttons and get to the PowerPoint. And I think you can all see the PowerPoint now, which is a good thing. And I am going to get us into projector mode here, slideshow mode. And we are in slideshow mode. So now you can see the full screen. And here we go. So the acronym we're going to be working with tonight, and the title of tonight's episode is How to Use the M.O.C.C.A formula. Obviously, it was this morning, and I was thinking about morning drink and how to use the M.O.C.C.A formula to expand into your greater potential. So I organized my tool that I use, my change tool that I used in industry and I use personally, and I organized it so that we would have this acronym and it would be easy for you to remember. So let's explore the M.O.C.C.A formula, and here we go. So the M in M.O.C.C.A stands for motivation. So before we do any kind of improvement, any kind of change, we want to first start out with what is the motivation for this, right? We want to reconnect with our overarching why. Why do we want to improve? Why do we want to change? And what is the purpose and the benefit of this? So in doing that, in examining our true motivation for this, we want to look at how would making an improvement serve both you and others, right? So is this why a strong why? Because it's going to allow us to serve at a higher level, ourselves and others involved. As part of that motivation, we want to look at what would it mean for you to make this improvement, okay? How would you feel about it? What would it do for you in the bigger picture of your life, your happiness, your fulfillment? And who is the person that you would become with this improvement, right? Who would the new you be? How would they show up? if we were to undertake this process of making some change and improvement. And then we'd want to determine who are the other stakeholders involved. Who are the other people involved that are going to be directly affected by this, right? We want to ensure that, first of all, the effect is a positive effect. We want to ensure that they have the same motivation. If it's going to directly affect them, do they have the same motivation for this to happen and the same connection with your strong why? Because if you're heading in a direction, they don't like it, they want to head in a different direction, just going to cancel each other out. Now, in an industrial or business environment, this was very, very important for our consulting team to make sure that there was agreement and synergy amongst the top management. So normally we would have a CEO or a president or a vice president contact us and say, we're looking to improve this. We'd like it to do this and do that. But the first thing I would do is I would meet with all of the top stakeholders involved, the CEO, the president, the vice presidents of the different departments, and say, is this something that you really want? Why? Are you all in agreement that it's something that you want, and why? Are you willing to commit the resources, right, of time, energy, people, money, right, to make this happen? How motivated and how committed are you before we start spinning our wheels and generating a lot of activity? We really need to make sure there's clear motivation, and it's a unified motivation, right? Does that make sense? Good. All right, so that's the M of the M.O.C.C.A formula. M stands for motivation. Right. All right, let's move on to the next part of the formula. The next part of the M.O.C.C.A formula is O. And O stands for observation, right? This is important. Before we start heading in a different direction, before we start trying to create any kind of change, we really have to have a very clear picture of where we are right now. So it's important that we do some assessment, right? Assessment is a form of detailed observation, and where we are recording the results of the assessment. And so we want to be assessing the positive attributes of the current state. So what's good about where we are right now? That's important to take into consideration. We also want to take a look at what are some of the drawbacks, right? What are some of the negative attributes of the current state that we're in, right? So we need to assess that. We need to measure the current positive results of the current state, and we need to include all stakeholders and their input in this assessment. Very, very important. It's important that it's not just our opinion. It's important that it's not just one person or one department that's affected by this. Everyone who's affected by this, everyone who's going to be contributing time, resources, money, equipment, energy, they all need to have an understanding and need to agree on how you are assessing the current state of affair. That's really important, because then we can move to the C. And C stands for course correction. And that's, we need to, once we've had a clear assessment, right? Once we have real clear commitment to the why, we have a real clear assessment of what's going on in the current state. In order to then begin to change, we need to make a plan for course correction, right? When I used to fly, I'd start out at one airport and I would map a course. and I would call in a flight plan and say, I'm heading to this place. And I would tune in on the various signals that are available to me to help guide me into that airport. You know, today we use GPS. Back then we used VOR radio signals. And so what would happen though is, you know, you have a couple of things going on. You have the wind, which is a big factor when you're in the air. So wind blowing in a different direction than when you started can cause the aircraft to move in the direction the wind is blowing and therefore take you off course, right? So, and also the earth is spinning. So you need to take into account the spinning of the earth on its axis. Then you also need to take into consideration the various changes in magnetic pull on the earth, right? So when I'm creating a flight plan, I have to factor all of those things in. So if I'm flying and all of a sudden I notice I'm off course, what I don't want to do is make a big, giant, panicky shift. Let's say I have to turn east. I'm heading north, but I'm way off course and now I'm heading northwest. You don't want to panic and turn the steering wheel, right? The flight control way, way over to the east too quickly, because you'll do what we call an overcorrection. So now you'll be heading way off course, but to the east instead of to the west. So what we want to do is we want to create a plan of slow incremental improvement and change so that we're not veering off course this way and then veering off course that way, but we're creating slow, systematic, steady adjustments to keep us on track for the goal. So we need to create a plan, and this is a unified plan amongst everyone involved, every stakeholder, to correct our current course, but do it in a systematic, organized, and controlled course correction. So we need to determine what actions would be needed to improve, right? What actions would be needed? Create a plan that defines the what, the when, the how, and the who involved. We need to make sure to include all relevant stakeholders in the planning, right? Then we need to plan small daily course corrections to get to the goal. Because remember, trying to make big changes too quickly produces poor results and wastes a lot of time with you overcorrecting, and you just wind up burning a lot of fuel and not getting and wasting a lot of time and not getting to your end result as quick as you could have and should have been. So that's the CC portion of M.O.C.C.A, course correction, but controlled course correction, right? Okay, and the fourth letter in the, or the fifth letter in the M.O.C.C.A formula then is action, okay? Action. It's important that once we are real clear about our motivation and we have buy-in by all the stakeholders, that we all share the same why, we all have the same goal, we all recognize the need for the change or the desire for the change, and we've done the observations and assessments, we agree on the results. Because, and I've seen this in hundreds of companies, I would go in and they would be all excited. Well, we have 180 things that we measure in a week. We would call those key KPIs, key process indicators. And they would say, oh, we have people who measure this and measure that and 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 that. I said, I would say, that's fantastic. What do you do with all of that data? We measure it. Okay, understand that. But what do you do with the information once you measure? Oh, we create a report. Oh, okay. And who gets the report? Well, so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so. So what do they do with the report? And then they kind of give me that blank look like, well, they file it. I said, so You have 8 people measuring 180 things a week, and you're generating reports, and everybody gets the report, but no one's taking any action on them, are they? Well, I don't know. And so that's really important, that all the greatest information in the world, right? You can have the greatest data. You can have the most wonderful, complete plans, right? You can have the most inspiring quotes and books and people guiding you and talking to you and all of these wonderful things, right? But if you don't take action on them, it's just information, right? All the greatest data, all the greatest plans, all the greatest consultants, right? Without any action are basically useless. So, in the M.O.C.C.A formula, when you are looking at the final piece that is so important, that's taking action. Remember, don't just spend the day thinking about what I'm going to do. Don't spend the day just wishing about what I wish I could do or be or have. Don't even spend the day just talking to others about what you're going to do, right? And in business, there are endless meetings where people meet and talk about what they're going to do. And then they plan to have another meeting to continue to talk about what they're going to do, and they don't do anything, right? Change will not happen that way. Change happens when you're committed, you've assessed the situation, you've created a unified plan, all the stakeholders involved agree on it. You have in that plan incremental, consistent course correction. Then finally, you have to follow the plan and do something, right? If your plan is to get stronger, filling out forms about what exercises you're going to do and how many reps, and watching all the videos in the world. But if you don't go to the gym, or if you don't go to your basement and you don't pick up a weight, or you don't walk, or you don't get on a trip, if you don't take action, all of that planning is for naught, and you will not see improvement just by thinking about it. But then people say, but, the power of positive visualization. I know that if I just visualize every day that I'm taking action and I'm doing it and I'm getting the improvement, yes, that's 50% of it, right? That's important to do that. But physically, you have to take action. So it's important to incorporate into your plan, and then incorporate your plan in your daily life. Incorporate what you're going to do, how you're going to do it, when you're going to do it, and do it. Do it. And if you say, well, I have a challenge, I don't have enough time to do it, or I just forget, or it's so hard, or I'm afraid of doing it, then a couple of years ago, we talked about different techniques to help you implement change. And one of them is stacking. To create a new habit, to replace an old negative habit with a new positive one, stack the new action you're trying to take with a daily action that's automatic, right? So for instance, if you don't floss and you want to add flossing to your dental hygiene, right? Floss, then brush your teeth. Or like me, I went out and bought a toothbrush that has an automatic water pick built into it. So, when I brush my teeth 3 times a day at least, it automatically flosses while I'm brushing. So I stack the flossing and the brushing, right? I stack those together. So stack the new action you need to take with current actions that are already a regular part of your day. Right? Another important thing is, remember we talked about making sure that all the stakeholders involved with this change or improvement in your life, we need to make sure that there's synergy with them. It's also important to take the opportunity to enlist the commitment and the help of those stakeholders, and also enlist all of the who's that are in your life who could be supportive of this change or this improvement and have resources they can give to you to help you. That could be information, it could be computer programs, it could be software, it could be anything, gym membership, it could be anything. But there are all kinds of people who are already successful about having made the changes you're trying to make. They're already successful achieving the results you want to achieve. So it's important, right, to enlist and maximize your content with people who are supportive and people who have resources that can help you because they've already achieved what you're looking for. Hanging out with the same people, right, who are all wonderful people, but have never achieved what you're trying to achieve, don't have information, don't have experience, don't have resources, right? They're not going to be able to help you. You really have to step outside of your comfort zone and connect and network with people who've already achieved what you're trying to achieve. So maximize the content with people who can be supportive. And we talk about this in my daily goal mastery journal, right? In that daily journal, you are looking at who are the people, places, and things that will support my goals for today. I want to stay connected with them. We also look at who are the people, places, and actions and attitudes that are sabotaging my progress. We want to minimize your contact with those that sabotage your progress, or they just don't have anything to offer you. And it's just kind of a, wasting oxygen, time, and energy, spending too much time during the day when you're trying to get somewhere, do something, and achieve something. You want to make sure that you're not spending too much time with the people who cannot support what you're trying to do. Right? Then finally, it's part of taking action. We want to continually create a strong emotional state that supports our mental goal, right, and our plan. We want to create a strong emotional state about how grateful we are that the improvement we seek is already inside of us and it's already manifested, right? And maybe it's already manifested in our imagination and in some other dimension. So we can start being grateful for it right now. And that gratitude will pull that improved state. It'll pull that goal to you. And then supporting that with service, right? What do you do once you've taken action and you're achieving the goals and the improvements? How can you use that? How can you use that momentum? How can you use that change, those new opportunities to be of greater service, not just for yourself, but for others, for life, for the universe? That really creates the icing on the cake, right? So maybe it's a mocha cake. It's a chocolate cake. But regardless of the flavor, think about this process, right? Think about the motivation, the observation, the course correction, and the action. If you do that, I know you're going to see progress. I know you're going to see change starting to happen. And as always, for those of you who are watching and listening, this show is not about, it's about education, information, sharing tools. I can't make guarantees that if you take what is being offered today, you're going to have a magic money machine. The skies are going to open and gold coins are going to flow. Bitcoin is going to go up to $10 million a coin. I can't promise anything of that. Also, we do not We do not have this show to attempt to diagnose, treat, or prevent any illness or problem. I cannot guarantee if you implement this what it will do for your business, because it's really all up to you. This formula is tried and proven for decades and decades and decades. I just simply put it in an easy to remember format. But here it is. For those of you watching on Facebook, you'll be able to see it over and over again on Facebook. Same thing with the folks who are with me on Zoom. You'll be able to revisit this, watch it, take notes, and implement it. But at this point, I'd like to stop my babbling here and open it up for questions or comments from the folks who are here. So, who would like to be the second person to speak?
Is it available in cappuccino also?
Cappuccino? I'll have to sit and figure out an acronym that makes cappuccino, and then I'll get back to you, Don. Okay?
Okay. Sounds good. It's good to be here. I'm glad I tagged along.
And I'm glad that you tagged along.
Yeah, and I was curious to see, last week it was car gas. I thought it was going to be something about motor oil this week, but I like mocha better.
Yeah, it's a little different.
The gas for your body.
Oh, I see.
Okay, well, thank you for that, Don.
Mike, the thing I really like the most.
Oh, you're muted.
So I wanted to revisit a couple of points. One was in you're talking about within the company, make sure you identify the stakeholders, and then you want to achieve synergy among all of the stakeholders. And it occurred to me that, sometimes I just jump right along into my own personal goals or my own personal improvement, but I don't necessarily spend enough time identifying the various aspects of myself, and the aspects that are, yes, we're ready for this major overhaul, and the aspects that are not. And I think just, as you mentioned with the 9 steps or the daily goal mastery, we do have this practice of the boardroom or the creative studio, where we do spend time identifying truly what the various aspects of self want and don't want. Once I know that there is a part, maybe an equal part in terms of intensity, that doesn't want to move forward as a part that does, once it's out in the open, then there is a way to talk about it and resolve it, be creative about it. So that was one thing. I figured that was one thing that struck me, that in my practices, I skip that step when I'm preparing for change. And then the other thing that I wanted to underscore is my favorite, which is be grateful for it having already happened. There's just something about that that's absolutely magical. Yeah.
It is magical. It certainly is magical, and it is essential. It really is essential, because then we are shifting our energies from a place of lack to a place of abundance, right? Mm-hmm. Abundance is being grateful already for what you know in your heart you already have inside of you. It just hasn't maybe gotten around to manifesting completely in the physical yet. Right.
Well, go ahead, Mike.
And I just want to finish that, because if we say, well, I don't have this and I'm going to wait till it shows up in order to be grateful, it's going to be tough for it to show up, because it's almost like we are looking at this thing and saying, I dare you to show up because I don't think you're gonna, right? I don't see you yet. I'm not really sure it's real. I'm not even sure that I can do it and achieve it, right? So when you show up, then I'll be grateful. If that's the attitude, you might as well, go to the movies or go do something else and choose a different goal and a different career, because it just doesn't work that way. Doesn't work that way. Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, as you know, I started out with this vision of creating a product that would be able to be sold over the holidays. And I started out with this real, my desire was to have something of value over the holidays, and that it would be of value because it would show some of my art, but also it would be of value to the person who acquires the calendar. And then I don't know if I started the gratitude thing before this or after this, but I realized that this vision in and of itself led me to a workshop that was unusual. I would have never thought to go to a card making workshop. But both those things, the card making workshop and the workshop I had taken on making a calendar, led me to this thing about what's the calendar going to do? Very much like what you say to me. What is the benefit to the person who's going to purchase it? And when I really went deep into that, I realized I had no clue. I don't know what I was doing. And then I began the practice of gratitude. I'm going to bed in the evening, grateful for the fact that this has already happened. People are happy with their calendars and being served by it. And it wasn't as if it magically everything got solved. Actually, what happened was that daily, I would do the small, systematic daily action towards the creation of this product. And that's it. That in itself is miraculous. That it's not that boom, I'm grateful, and then the whole thing shows up. It's more like I'm grateful, I'm doing this practice, and what happens is that my consistency has grown, and my discipline. I shudder a little bit because it doesn't feel like discipline. It feels like, oh, it's easy to show up every day and do the little something. So that's what I've looking at with M.O.C.A. I feel like I'm talking a lot, but there's one last thing. I think when you had in the observation, it says, make sure you list the positive attributes and the positive results of the current state. That's a bit like, whoa, do I do that? Or am I so focused on improvement and change that I don't rest on the foundation of there are some positivities in the current state that you can't overlook. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. We don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater every time we're trying to make improvement. I worked in Latin American countries for many years, and, the history in a lot of Latin American countries is, things weren't going right. So they had a revolution and they got rid of everything and everybody, and they brought in new people. And because they didn't analyze what was right, what was going well, and what wasn't, they just said, everything stinks, we're getting rid of all of it, and we're putting a new person in with a new ideology. And then it's the same problems.
Same thing.
Meet the new boss, same as the old boss, that song from the Who, right? It's the same thing. You've changed the scenery, but it's the same situation. So that's why it is really important. Assess what is the positive foundation you have that you've spent years building.
Right.
Keep what works. Keep your strengths, keep your experiences built into this, but look at now the things that are hurting it, pull those things out, right? Pull out the thorns that you stepped in, get them out of your feet, and then let's take a look at what new things we can add on top of this to get us higher, right? To get us higher, take us further. So that's really great. I want to just say, Samarit, I'm so excited how you've been following this process. Recently, your program, Your Art is Oxygen, right? Your Art is Oxygen at yourartisoxygen.com. When we were talking about how to structure the emails, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You had already created this amazing journal, right? This 7-day doodling journal. Just doodle it, right? And each day had really beautiful and thoughtful exercises in them for people to do and contemplate on and think about that tie into the results they want and the process you're trying to take them in the course. And suddenly you had the eureka that, well, wait a minute, I'm struggling with what are these emails I'm going to be sending each week to these people? What are they supposed to say? And you realize, oh, my journal is already there, and I want to introduce them to a page of a part of the journal, right? Each email. So it was already there, right? It's already there. So we want to look and assess, wait, what's already there that works? Right.
Yeah.
Isn't that great?
Yeah. Well, it is. It works for both things. It works for assessing what's already there, but it also works for being grateful that the improvement is already there. Because it's there. If you and I hadn't talked, it would have been there, but I wouldn't have seen it and appreciated it. So it's not positive thinking. It's a true practice. And the practice, it's just not that far from reality. Like as I'm grateful for the thing that's already there, I train my eyes and my consciousness to actually see what's already there, which I was overlooking.
And another great example of that very thing, when we transitioned from the paintings that were in the gallery of your art show in Minnesota, when we looked at, wow, these aren't just paintings for people to watch and for people to buy, these paintings became steps along the journey that manifested into your course, Art is a Healing Walk, right? When people go to artisahealingwalk.com, they are not only going to experience the journey through your paintings, but it's going to take them on a journey of personal and self-discovery. And they're going to be able to have that same experience with their own art, right? So viewing art and creating art can be more than an artistic experience. It can be a physical, emotional, a mental, and spiritual experience, all providing growth, right? And you learn the law of economy to where the paintings weren't just paintings. Each one of them was a part of a lesson in the course. And when you move on to do your calendar, the paintings and parts of the course and the stuff from Your Art is Oxygen, right? Those steps, you can incorporate all of them in the calendar.
Into the calendar.
And the calendar will be a learning, a reminder, and an exploration tool for the people who buy it
Yes.
And there'll be
Yes.
links there once they have the calendar. If they haven't taken your workshop and your course, they'll be able to go to yourartisoxygen.com or artisahealingwalk.com, and they'll be able to take it to the next step. Same thing with your cards, right? See, this is economy, the law of economy. Integrating these things, taking what's already there and build on it instead of saying, oh, I have to create this new thing now. And I'm racking my brain. What's it going to be? What's it going to have? Let's look at what we already have and let's build that. Let's build and build and build. Right?
Yes, yes. Very exciting. I think that as we are talking, I am developing a deeper and a new appreciation of what is already there. You and I talk also a lot about the future is already in the present, and to be able to see that. I don't know. I don't have the right words except to say in a very real way. That it's not a figure of speech. It's not a metaphor. It actually is already here. And if I can be grateful for it, it begins to reveal more and more of its ingredients and aspects.
Very cool.
Yeah, very, very cool.
We talked a lot about some of these principles. This is probably a good time to go back to our PowerPoint for a second. So let's do that. Hit share screen. That again. All right. So we were mentioning our programs, and all of these things that we talk about, I include and have implemented into all of my programs, right? So once again, if you are involved in healthcare, right? If you are involved in healthcare, I have taken all of these principles plus everything that I have done to create my business, to create my coaching programs, to create my programs, my courses, my upcoming books that are in the works. All of that, I have created this program called the Evolve Health Caring Thought Leader Program. And for those of you out there in healthcare who want to take a step beyond just how many patients do I see in a week, and that determines my income, this is a program that can expand your reach, your ability to serve, and your ability to generate revenue beyond just how many people you can see in a day. You could be reaching people all over the world, sharing your wisdom, your knowledge, your experience. And this program has successfully done that with a number of people. And I want to help anyone out there who is willing to go through the work to become a thought leader. So that's this program. We were talking about the process each day of supporting the goals that we set with the right things to do, the right things not to do, the people, places, things, and attitudes that support our behavior, people, places, and things and attitudes that sabotage. How to go through your day in a systematic way to ensure that you've done everything possible to lay a fertile foundation for the actions that you take to create and generate the goals that you seek. And not only is this an amazing, I call it the Swiss Army knife of journals. It has 7 different journals in one, right? It has instructional video, right? Every aspect of the journal has an explanational class. And in that class, I talk about how to properly use the pieces, where they come from, the benefits in your life. There's quick start guides. There's a video of our study buddy groups that were part of the class. It's just an amazing tool, and now it's an amazing online program, right? If you're interested in that, go to goalmasteryjournal.com, GOAL masteryjournal.com. And that is actually one step of the 9-step program I created several years ago to really help ensure you have done everything you need to do to seek the right goals for yourself that are congruent with who you are, why you are, what you've been, and what you want to become, right? That's step one. We go through all of these steps to integrate yourself physically, emotionally, memory, mentally, spiritually. We help you create some amazing tools to step-by-step create the best plan to reach your goals and implement that plan, right? We help you use some of the energetic laws, right, of the universe to help you become an attractor, a magnet of goal achievement, right? We help you to connect deeper with the world and the people you're trying to serve. We help you manage your fear, how to manage change, how to deal with when things don't go the way you plan, how to change setbacks into step-ups. Then we go into how to battle procrastination and take bold, massive action. And then finally, once you've been through it and actually have manifested a goal, how to turn that into an education piece that you can share with others. And it actually could be, we'll teach you how to create a course or a book or a program that will help somebody else benefit from your journey to goal achievement. So that's the Your 9 Steps program for Goal Achievement Mastery. You can get that, order that at MikeDeLucaCoach.com. I created this really simple program for exploring the wisdom in your dreams. I call it the Ride Your Dreams program. Has a great workshop I gave to some coaches from around the world about how to use your dreams to achieve your goals. You can get that at ridemydreams.com. Or if you have family members, right, who are interested in dreams, this is a great introductory process that takes them step by step. It has a really amazing dream journal built into it. And there is some great instructional video in there. So ridemydreams.com. If you go there, you can get this program. And finally, I do have limited space in my coaching schedule. I have a number of different areas that I coach people on besides the Evolved Health Caring Thought Leader Program, which I only have 2 spots left in my schedule for these folks, because this is very intensive coaching. In my Evolved Health Caring program, I not only coach you, I create a custom website for you. I help you create ebooks and materials. I create custom video. I have my staff do the videos. I have my staff do your social media marketing, your postings on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. You are getting thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars of service per month for a very small fee per month. And again, if you're interested in that, go to evolvedhealthcaring.com. If you're interested in personal coaching, go to MikeDeLucaCoach.com. Okay. And that's a message from our sponsor who pays for all of this and makes it all happen. My company, Integrative Wellness and Development, LLC. And look at that. We are nearing the end of today's show. So grateful. So grateful that you folks joined me tonight. So grateful you folks are joining on Facebook. My purpose here is if I can share one thing that's valuable to you, if I can share one thing that you put in your life that makes your life better, that helps you get closer to your goals, it's worth all of the effort I put into this every day, every week, every month, and every year. So I hope this has been helpful for you tonight. Go over the information that we shared today in the M.O.C.A formula. Go through some of the past shows, the car gas formula, some of the other great shows. They're there. I left them on Facebook. I left them there for people to learn from and benefit. I had a lot of people say, I went back a month ago, 2 months ago, watched that thing again, and oh man, it was so helpful to me. That's why I do it, right? I don't do it because I like to hear myself talk or I like to see myself on social media. I do it because I want to serve, right? So thank you for being here and helping me serve. I love you all. I'm so excited about everything you do each day to make your life better and become a greater contributor of value to the world. I thank you in advance for that because the world does need you. So until next time, thanks again. Have a great night, a great week, a great life. Love you. And we will see you next time.